Okay.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you too. And without disappointing everybody, I'm not actually going to go into detail about my courses today, just a little bit. You're right, coaching is becoming a phenomenon worldwide. And very much it's about understanding what is coaching, what is language coaching, and how we are bringing neurolanguage coaching into the world. But in fact, my main talk today is about the Neurolanguage Coaching Conference. I will give a little bit of an insight into what is neurolanguage coaching, but very much the focus today is the conference. And last year we held the first conference in Mainz in Germany, which was a phenomenal event. And this year I'm extremely excited because we're going to be holding the conference in Edinburgh. And it will be from the 2nd to the 4th of May. And the premises where we are holding the conference is at Dynamic Earth, which is actually embedded at the foot of Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh, which, if anybody knows Edinburgh, I'm not sure if you know that there is an extinct volcano sitting at the back of Edinburgh. I had no idea. And fascinatingly, this extinct volcano is at the back of Dynamic Earth, where we will be holding the event. And the event will be starting with a champagne reception on the 2nd of May in the late afternoon evening, so people can arrive and relax, network, bond, get to know each other. And then the 3rd and the 4th of May, the event will be full of really amazing talks. And the overall theme of this conference is not just a language focus. I have a language background, as you do, Rob, and I believe most of the listeners out there. The overall theme is, in fact, what can we do to enhance the learning process, whether it's for language learning or whatever topic. And really, how can we bring learning into this 21st century, making it much more efficient, much more effective, much more adapted to the learners of today? You know, just yesterday I was speaking to somebody who was saying that, you know what, our learners today are so different to the ones that we've had over the last 30 years. They're now much more stressed, much more demanding, and much more in need of a very progressive way of learning. They need to get things fast. So how are we changing our processes to really match what people need? And what can we do more? You know, we're all in this together. What can we do to change and adapt? And if we look at how technology, the telephone industry, communications, all this development in the world is phenomenal. And is education really up to those speeds? And how can we get education into the speed of today? And understanding, and I was listening to one of the speakers earlier, that really the focus is not on us. The focus now has to be more and more learner-centric. We have to focus on the learners. We have to understand their brains, what's happening, how they're learning, how they're not learning. And we have so much rich evidence now from neuroscience, from coaching, from emotional intelligence, from heart science. And what are we doing to bring all of that into practical steps in the learning process? So who is this conference for? Well, any educator, whether you are language or any topic, private or public, whether you call yourself a trainer, a teacher, a coach, a tutor, whatever you are. And even for corporates, you know, people involved in learning processes in companies, I wish they would definitely come into this question of how to shake up their learning processes in businesses. Because we as language educators are finding that the people in HR, the people in these learning and development in procurement are just not adapting to their learners' needs. And even the conference is for learners who want to know how they can learn better. I do actually have one of my amazing clients from Italy coming over to be part of the audience of this conference, because she's fascinated in how to maximize her brain, how to maximize, her learning and really get information in there faster and into the long-term memory so that it's embedded. And the topics will range from, I will be talking about neurolanguage coaching, how we've developed, where we are, what's happened. It's been a 5-year journey where the development has been phenomenal. And teachers are absolutely transforming themselves. As Rob, you experienced on the course, it is very much an inner transformation first to then be able to bring out the information and the expertise to assist our coachees. We've also got Luca Lampariello, an amazing polyglot who's going to be talking about how to revolutionize language learning at schools. We have the topic of neuroplasticity, practical intelligence, neurofeedback. Thomas Feiner is going to be there with his neurofeedback apparatus, even hooking people up so that they can start to understand brain waves and what's happening in their brains. Emotional intelligence, heart science, conversational intelligence, even how to bring change to education, how to bring business and education together. And finally, my researcher will be presenting some of the latest findings that we've been studying relating to neurolanguage and how neurolanguage is in fact bringing impacts. So the speakers themselves, we have Lee, Andrew and David coming over from Australia. Now, Andrew Short is a very, very special gentleman. He was born with cerebral palsy, and he's been working with Lee Campbell for over 6 years now with practical intelligence. And they have really demonstrated how neuroplasticity has, in fact, changed. The brain of Andrew has, in fact, changed. So they have demonstrated in very, very live, real evidence how somebody's brain can change, and even somebody with a disability can change their brain. And they will be speaking about that journey, and Lee will be explaining about the importance of practical intelligence, movement in learning. Luca, as I said, is our famous polyglot, talking about language learning and especially how to bring that more and more into schools. Thomas, our neurofeedback expert. Richard Bentley, our professional certified coach, who will be talking about coaching and emotional intelligence. We have the real David Cameron, who is an educationalist, revolutionary, bringing a breath of fresh air into the educational process in England. Really a consultant who is very focused on how to change and develop learning in schools. We have people from the Horne Foundation. I don't know if a lot of you know, but Goldie Hawn set up the Horne Foundation with the trademark MindUp, and they train teachers worldwide into neuroscience and into practical steps of bringing in neuroscience into the learning experience, especially for children. And my researcher, Dimitris, who will be presenting results as well. And after the conference, very special occasion on the Saturday for all those interested, Lee, Andrew and David will be taking us on a trek into that extinct volcano. So for anybody who wants the experience of working with Lee as a coach and accompanying Andrew and David. By the way, Andrew has accomplished the most amazing treks in the world. He's done the Great Wall of China, the Kokoda Trail, so really blasted through his disability to prove that, we can achieve the most amazing things. And just to give you a little bit of feedback about neurolanguage coaching, it is about bringing the elements and principles of coaching into the learning process. And I don't just mean sitting there and talking like a coach. I mean actually living and breathing those competences and the ethics and the professional skills of being a coach, and that requires training. We are accredited by the International Coach Federation. We follow the ethics and guidelines of standards of the ICF. And in addition, we bring in the principles of neuroscience. So how the brain learns, how the brain functions, how the brain reacts, and how we as coaches need to understand how to coach our learners at any point around emotional triggers, around how to get more efficient learning, and really demonstrate that those principles of neuroscience actually prove how the brain learns. And we bring all that into the process. I've created new models, and we even go so far as to delivering grammar through brain-friendly conversations that are non-threatening and without books. So for all of you who are listening today, we are offering a special 10% promotional discount. So you do have to put in the code on the website. The website is neurolanguagecoachingconference.com. And if you put in the promo code EFLtalks, you'll get that 10% discount. So Rob, how was I with time?